Peace, Black family. So let me weigh in on this whole SNAP situation that's taking place right now in the United States. So one of my favorite books is The Irritated Genie, an essay on the Haitian Revolution written by none other than Jacob H. Carruthers. So the premise of the book deals with the irritated genie, who is a revolutionary ready to make change. And then you have the Phantom of Liberty, which we all know what a phantom is. So you're probably asking, what does this book, The Irritated Genie, has to do with SNAP benefits today? Well, let's go ahead to this famous quote by Lyndon B. Johnson. He says, "If you convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pockets. Hell, give him someone to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you." Now, I'm not saying that black people are not being affected by their SNAP benefits being cut off, but it is an overwhelming arch of white people being affected. See, here's the thing about racism. Of course, it deals with the economics and the resources, but for poor white people, it gives them this psychological illusion of occlusion to the whiteness of America, when essentially they just getting fed a dream while their pockets getting picked by the rich white folk. And that brings me back to this book, The Irritated Genie. So let me just give you a snapshot of what racial politics looked like in the 1800s in Haiti. So at the top, you have the Grand Blancs, the big whites. Then you have the mulattoes. Then you have the Petit Blancs, which is the small whites. And then you have the enslaved Africans on this island. The big whites control the plantations, the mulattoes, they can have plantations as well. They're also sometimes the children of mixed race interracial couples. And then you have the small whites who are like the overseers who, you know, they ain't got nothing. And then, of course, you have the Africans who really don't have nothing. Let me read you one of my favorite parts from the book, The Irritated Genie, that kind of solidifies my point in what I'm saying. Oppressed by all classes of whites, they're talking about the mulattoes, to the extent that they were often prevented from wearing shoes. These mulattoes had more money than the Petit Blancs, the small whites, right? Whereupon the wealthy dames of color put diamond rings on their toes to flaunt their economic superiority over the poor whites. So even though the mulattoes had more money than the Petit Blancs, the small whites, they were forbidden from wearing shoes. They could not wear shoes because the poor whites did not have shoes, and they did not want to see them wearing shoes, even though they still had more money than them. But as long as you can give them somebody to look down upon, the big whites at the top were still in charge. The mulattoes had more money than them, but they just got a psychological satisfaction from knowing that, hey, I could tell you take your shoes off. You can't wear no shoes. But at the end of the day, did that really, really matter that they couldn't wear shoes? If you still being affected by the same social system, you just get some type of psychological benefit from it. This book is a must read if you are an African warrior scholar. Because unfortunately, we still have people running around here chasing that phantom of liberty. Shout out to all my irritated genies.